Welcome to this episode of Bridging the Distance, a way for you to stay connected to Santa Clara during this time that we're dispersed around the world. I'm Lisa Kloppenberg, Provost of Santa Clara University and the guest host of today's episode. I am delighted to welcome Robin Nelson, who recently earned tenure and a promotion. Congratulations, Robin.
Thank you.
I understand you're teaching Intro to Anthropology this quarter, and that's a class with some lab work. So how's the transition gone?
So what I realized this quarter was that I needed to take what are very important in-person learning experiences and make sure that the students had a similar experience online. That required shifting a lot of our lab work online as well. One really interesting point in the class is when students are able to go into our laboratory and hold the casts, the fossil casts of our human ancestors in their hands. And they would not be able to do this in this remote learning environment. But what I found were several 3D casts online where the students can use their mouse to kind of rotate the cast, look under the cast, look at the teeth, look at the skull. And that's been a very useful way to translate that lab. We also do a lab where the students go to the Oakland Zoo and they observe primates, and they do basically a primate study at the Oakland Zoo, and we can't do that. But what I did do is ask students to do a similar lab, and I worked with this with Michelle Bazanson, a primatologist in our department, and to do a similar lab, but looking at wildlife in their environments. So anything from squirrels to hawks to hummingbirds. And for those students who are in environments where they are unable to be outside, like I have a student in New York City, we came up with some videos that person could watch of primate behavior to accomplish the same goal.
That sounds like a big transition. In addition to teaching this class, you're having to develop whole new approaches to the material. So what have you learned about yourself as a professor? How have you adjusted?
So I like to make sure that the students understand that I am available. I typically want the class to be very well organized and me to be very approachable. And that way, challenging concepts are less scary. And so in this online environment, what I decided to do was make everything asynchronous so that students all around the world can learn at a time of day that's appropriate for them. But I also, send out a lot of email reminders. We have synchronous office hours if they want to drop in. So there are ways to make myself approachable and to make sure that the students know that they can ask me any question that they may have about the material, even though we are in a remote learning situation.
We're so grateful for all that extra work you're putting into the teaching, and you're still continuing your amazing scholarship, which is so impressive. So tell us, you recently got an article placed in a prestigious journal.
So every year we are asked, some anthropologists, biological anthropologists are asked to contribute a piece in the annual reviews of anthropology. I was asked to do that this year, and I was able to work on my research, or present my research on migration, parental migration, and childcare. And it's been hard. I'm home with my 2 children, but I really enjoy the research as much as the teaching. And so I'm thankful that I get to do those 2 pieces of my work, even though we're not on campus anymore.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Robin, and for all your work. Thanks for everyone for joining in. And next time we'll see you again on Bridging the Distance.